Giuliani was on Newsmax as well. It's one of the few places he can go back to. This segment is called Giuliani, Pre-Trump FBI had no interest in me. Should they have? I mean, there's a decent question there. I think there is a very strong one by Hi, Nicole. By the way, love you on Deadline White House. Thanks for figuring out that the Republican Party is not aligned with your conservative values and becoming kind of a normal, middle-of-the-road human being and being able to tell lunacy from normalcy. Anyways, Rudy is basically saying, I think in this, and I've not watched this yet, but the title of it alone leads me to believe that Rudy is aware that he'd done some stuff that was sketchy as shit on, pre-Trump, but they just didn't bother with it.
2 FBI agents ending up in the sit room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration. The FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official. You would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals, and who would be there. And I thought, it's early enough. Let's just send a couple guys over.
Oh my God, I didn't realize this was Sebastian Gorka. I don't know what he's looking at, by the way. Maybe he's using the same Post-it scheme that Don Jr. uses.
He's laughing about using FBI agents to politically frame a great American. But that...
No, he's laughing about the fact that the Trump administration in the beginning and even throughout was such a disorganized shitfest that he could just send FBI agents over because they didn't even know how to arrange things. And by the way, if they don't have anything to find, what are you worried about?
But that was 5 years ago. Is it over? We have a new administration. Is it better? On the contrary.
Oh, no.
I consider him to be a personal friend. Most Americans consider him to be America's mayor.
Oh, God.
Individual who stood up.
No, by the way, he means Giuliani, and no, they don't. They might have at one point, because that was a branding exercise. Calling Rudy Giuliani America's mayor was a branding exercise past 2001, past 9/11. It had no actual meaning. He was not America's mayor. And for the record, right now, considering what his job is, Pete Buttigieg is America's mayor. Mayor Pete. He's getting the roads fixed all over the country. That's America's mayor.
Stood up to 5 mafia families and took those dons down.
Yeah, so that the Russians and the Chinese could move in. Weird.
Man who cleaned up the streets of New York and then helped the Big Apple get...
Did he now? Clean of what? Completely devoid of what?
Back on its feet after September the 11th. He's a great American.
He moved the emergency response center to the Twin Towers after the first bombing. That was his big idea.
He's a patriot, and he's going to tell us what the deep state is doing now. Mayor Rudy Giuliani, welcome to the Gorka Reality Check.
The Gorka Reality Check. We've all got cute, stupid names for our shows.
Thank you, Seb. It's always a pleasure to be with you, and I consider you a personal friend.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't be on Newsmax unless you did. Honest to God, the mixture of like ball cradling and autofellatio that makes up the entire guest system at Newsmax is hilarious.
And a tremendous patriot, a real contributor to what we're going through now. We need voices like yours because we're being...
Because we need people who are amoral or immoral enough to just parrot your blather.
March towards socialism.
Okay. You can't... You just had your shit seized by the FBI. You cannot say that, that was because of some sort of big... Like, this is how the socialists are going to gain ground. We're not. None of the shit that's being proposed is socialism. God damn it, I hate this. Like, even the socialists don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Anybody who follows me on Twitter knows that, like, one of my pet peeves right now is Richard Wolff and the socialist crowd talking about this stuff. They are talking out of their ass, and so is he.
And a censorship is being imposed upon us that's
censorship? You're on a show as a guest. So is he.
Totally unprecedented.
It truly is, and they target you. I know they're not going to intimidate you. They can't intimidate the man who took down the mafia and took on Al-Qaeda. But will you share with our viewers?
Took on Al-Qaeda? What? Sorry, did I miss the story in 2003 where Rudy suited up in a squirrel suit with an M16 and they dropped him behind the enemy lines in Afghanistan? Took on Al-Qaeda?
Viewers, what happened to you just a few weeks ago when the FBI that I used to respect
before when you thought they were an arm of the Trump organization
came knocking on your door? What happened to you? Please explain.
Well, you can
all
imagine.
Of our viewers.
For me, this was like I worked with the FBI for 17 years at the lowest level and the highest level. I worked with Judge Webb.
Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of the mafia guys you brag about taking down were really upset that one of the guys in their organization turned out to be a federal agent. That, you know, I used to love you, Charlie.
When he was head of the FBI on the Hinckley case. Remember Hinckley? Who shot President Reagan. The FBI was
What, are you not going to work with them? What are you talking about?
Integral part of all of my mafia prosecutions.
Oh, you mean your Chinese mafia and your Russian mafia? Oh, there weren't any. Okay.
I actually asked for specific agents who were expert at being able to put wires in. So I have
You mean the surveillance guy? What?
4 years ago, I was given an award by the FBI Association as G-Man of the Year. So
cool. Did you get a decoder ring? Was it plastic? Did they give you a box of Fruit Loops and you had to dig around in there for it yourself? G-Man of the Year?
This has been a very, very warm, close relationship. And all of a sudden...
Yeah, well, keep your friends close, right?
At 6 o'clock in the morning, 2 weeks ago, roughly, there's...
Roughly. You going to lie again about how they treated you?
Tremendous banging, and they come in and they have a warrant.
Wow, I didn't know they had it in them.
And the warrant is to search for certain all electronics.
No. They didn't take your fucking television. They didn't take your laptop charger back in the corner. They didn't take all electronics. If somebody had a fucking pacemaker, they weren't going to carve it out of their chest.
Certain period of time. And I look at it because you have to have some kind of charge. And what they say is that I failed to register as a foreign agent.
Yeah. So you could be a spy. We're not talking about uncrossed T's and undotted I's.
With regard to some...
Yes, I am wearing a Steve Martin shirt.
A Ukrainian official. Now, I have for 2 or 3 years, been plagued with allegations like this.
Oh, it's sad, isn't it? Plagued with allegations. Is that why you have the coloring you do? Is it plague? It's plague, isn't it? 3
times my lawyer asked the U.S. attorney, could we come in and explain to you?
And yet, during the Trump administration,
and show you this is not true. It's completely false. Never.
And they went, no, we need your devices. Well, you can't have them. Just surrender your devices and we'll look at them. And I mean, you don't think we don't have crooks offering to come in and tell us their story without providing any corroborating evidence? All the fucking time?
Never represented any of them. In fact, I specifically didn't represent this person. I referred him to somebody else. And I wanted to give him that information. They never, ever took up my offer.
Because they didn't believe you. Because they already had access to other shit. And they went, he's lying to us every time he talks to us.
They, unbeknownst to me, back in 2019 or so.
Yeah, or so.
They went and took my iCloud information for 1.5 years without telling me.
Oh my God. Did you ever, Rudy, I'm a layman. Most of us in the chat are laymen as well in terms of how investigations go. But when you were going after the mob specifically, and you were going through you got a low-level guy, and then you're trying to work your way up to actually bring down the whole thing because you knew that they were sketchy and all that stuff. Did you just, as soon as you got some low-level dude go, I know who the Don is, let's go to Gotti's house and kick down the door? No, you had to gather evidence and all this kind of stuff. And I'm sure it was a big surprise to them that you'd had a wiretap for a good long while. Were they shocked? Were they ever shocked, Rudy, that you had been gathering information that the FBI and the NYPD had been gathering information? Obviously, you didn't do anything. But, were they ever, did you ever have to sit there and play a tape for them and go, yeah, we were listening, and they went, oh my God. Did they ever go, you guys didn't even tell me I was being surveilled?
They're supposed to notify you at some point. They never notify.
They're not supposed to notify you at some point. What a fucking ridiculous statement. Hey, buddy. Yeah. We have a report that you're a serial murderer, rapist, and a killer, that you've eaten a couple of people. Yeah, we've been following you for about 6 months. We're building a case. Yeah, you should see Gary's office. There's a bunch of pictures of you, all different angles, alleyways, renting cars. We got a shit ton of your receipts, too. Anyways, go back to what you were doing. We just got to let you know. What? Who? How in the hell?
Who? Giuliani.
The FBI.
Giuliani.
Who are you working for? Who is your most famous client when they when they searched your iCloud?
The American client? Make sure you only say the American clients. That you were the president's attorney because he'd given you $1 and put you on retainer so you could hide all this shit, and that you were actually working for these other clients. Don't ask him who his biggest client was. Ask him who all of his little clients were.
Of course, it was the president of the United States. And in fact, the beginning.
Wait a minute. Joe Biden hired you?
Date that they asked for in the iCloud is roughly the beginning date that I began to represent him.
It's weird. It's almost like Trump told you because he had inside information that they were looking into you, and you went, you need to give me $1 and take me on as your attorney so that I can hide all this shit and we can push back. Because if they get this stuff and they know that I wasn't working as your attorney, but acting on behalf of Ukrainians and on your own financial interests abroad while you're president, that's all illegal. But we can hide all this shit if you just give me $1 and say, I'm hiring you as my attorney. And then magically, it's the same day. Which one happened first, Rudy? Because I'm going to go with the afternoon after they got your iCloud. Trump found out from Barr or somebody in the DOJ that was a sycophant, and he told you, and you came up with this scheme.
In other words, they basically said, we got no interest in you before Donald Trump.
No, you weren't his attorney until they came looking for you.
But the minute you started representing him, they went and took 1.5 years of my confidential material off of the iCloud.
They don't take it off. They just look at it. No, you do realize that no one keeps emails in drawers, right?
It has to be they were searching for stuff that would hurt Donald Trump and also hurt me.
Why would they find anything? Why would they even think?
Some kind of theory that I'm going to help them with bad information about Donald Trump. So let me just tell them this is a waste of time. I don't have any such information.
No, you don't?
As a lawyer, as a lawyer, I can't even talk about it. All I can tell you is I began representing him because I believed he was an innocent man who was being framed. And I turned out to be right.
No, you aren't. And that none of that has to be true. Because he started his statement with, this is all covered by attorney-client privilege, that gives him the right to lie on his behalf.
And I also,
Mayor,
happened to turn around their case. And when I came in More people wanted him impeached than not. And 4 months later, we had flipped it and we had exposed Mueller and his henchmen for exactly what they were.
Good investigators who were being hamstrung by Rod Rosenstein and not being allowed to look into Trump's finances, which were the primary motivator for the actions that he took, siding with the Russians at every turn, and therefore denying the ability to have a genuine investigation on that reached a level of criminal charges because you removed motive from the entire process, like that.
Now, that made them very angry because I went after the FBI, Peter Strzok, Jim Comey, who was a former colleague of mine. I hired Comey. But Comey committed perjury and has gotten away with it.
Now,
nobody's ever searched his house.
Now,
What are they going to find, Rudy? They're going to find all the stuff they got off your iCloud?
I've never committed perjury.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, you have
you lie in
valiant-
public. By the way, can we put a pin in that, guys, at some point in the future? Rudy Giuliani just saying he's never committed perjury. Just for the record. Now, that's different than saying he's never lied about this case or lied about his representation of Donald Trump. That's not what he's saying at all. But it allows for the inference thereof.
Valiantly for the truth. All your career, you represented President Trump superbly, but
No. If he didn't have Bill Barr running interference, the whole thing would have
you
collapsed.
have to mention the final detail of what happened when your home and your offices were raided.
Tell us the story about the Hunter Biden hard drives that don't exist and the Hunter Biden laptop that's a fake. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. What color is the laptop? Anybody? Any Trump fans? What color is it? Is it silver? Is it black? Is it a rose-colored Apple laptop?
Raided. The warrant listed all electronic equipment.
No, it did not. You were saying that because he said that. That's not what it said. It was communication devices. They only took communication devices, therefore that's what it was for. If it was for all electronic devices and they thought somehow he was using the chat feature on his flat screen television to talk to Russians or Ukrainians through the Alpha Bank server in Trump Tower, they'd have ripped the TV off the wall, but they fucking didn't, did they? They took iPads, laptops, and phones. It was communication devices, not all electronic devices. They didn't go in there, is this a smart stove?
But there was some electronic equipment those FBI agents refused to take away from your premises.
Whoops. Did my
What were they,
thing freeze?
Mr.
What
Mayor?
happened? Hold on. And we're back. There we go. Look at that. I mean, who does that? Who can fix their own tech in the middle of everything? A guy named after a computer, that's who.
All electronic equipment. And during the course of the search, they presented me with electronic equipment that wasn't mine.
No, they were there to pick up all communication devices, electronic communication devices in the house. You had 2 burner phones. These phones are yours.
I actually just got it back. I said, this is not my computer. This is somebody else's.
Yeah, I'm sure you're the first defendant ever to say that. Whoa. Hold it right there, Spinach Chin. I never even saw these assholes before. Right. Hold on, make sure that, yep, audio's good. Cool.
And then they took
Thanks.
my
Thanks,
ex-wife's
Al Bauer.
computer because when we exchanged property, I guess we couldn't find this. It was hidden behind something. And the FBI
I'm sorry, what? You do what now?
wife's computer because enemy with electronic equipment that wasn't mine. I actually just got it back. I said, this is not my computer. This is somebody else's. And then they took my ex-wife's computer because when we exchanged property, I guess we couldn't find this. It was hidden behind.
Okay, he had stolen his ex-wife's computer allegedly and was hiding it behind something, and was maybe using it as leverage in the divorce, something like that. So let me get this straight before the story goes any further. See if anybody can see the hole in this that I'm running into. So there was a laptop that wasn't yours at the house, and they took it. They took all the laptops that were there, even if they were not yours. And yet they didn't find any Hunter Biden laptop. What did they find?
Behind something, and the FBI found it. It's not my.
The FBI, in searching his place, found his ex-wife's laptop that was hidden behind something.
My computer, it's hers. So they took it anyway, even though I said, it's not mine. All of a sudden, there are these 2 hard drives.
Okay, hard drives, right? Why are there 2 hard drives from a laptop that isn't there? Rudy, what hard drives?
And
by the way, does anybody remember, there used to be 3. Do you remember this? Does anybody remember when he first told this fucking story? There were 3.
they said, what are those? And I said, well, those are Hunter Biden's hard drives.
And you're supposed to take his, they're not communication devices, they're just hard drives. They have his iCloud. And keep in mind, before he says his, no, we don't want that. No, we don't want the, oh, no, if that's Hunter Biden's, we don't want to go anywhere near that. No. Keep in mind, these assholes have had his iCloud for years.
Remember, the one who put out the information on Hunter Biden.
What? Yeah, the fake information that you purchased for $5 million that was for sale for $3 million in Ukraine.
I said, I guess you have to take those too.
No, they're hard drives. They're not communication devices.
They said, oh, no. We don't want those. Now think about that for a second.
Okay, I'm thinking about it. Let me think for a second. Okay, I'm done thinking. You're an asshole.
That could have been Vladimir Putin on the hard drive.
Yeah, but they didn't have a warrant for hard drives. They had a warrant for communication devices. That's why they took your ex-wife's laptop. Now, where is Hunter Biden's laptop, Rudy? Does anybody think that Hunter Biden's laptop was in Rudy Giuliani's possession anywhere? Why is there no laptop? He's been talking about it. He's in possession of it. He's the guy that has it. He gave a copy of the hard drive to the FBI. He gave one to the Delaware State Police. He didn't give the actual one because we all know that Rudy is great at evidence tampering. What has Rudy Giuliani just admitted to in this interview that we have not had him admit to in the future? That there is no laptop that was formerly owned by Hunter Biden in his possession. Because if it was there, even hidden behind something, they would have taken it. They found his ex-wife's laptop that was behind a cushion in a couch or some shit, or wherever he was hiding it in a drawer. They found it. But you know what they didn't find? Hunter Biden's laptop. You know why they didn't find it? Because it doesn't fucking exist. That's why. Because there are hard drives that Rudy Giuliani purchased overseas and that they've set up this stupid scheme to try and attack the election in the United States. And this whole scheme is predicated on loose hard drives. There is no laptop. It doesn't exist. It's bullshit. And Rudy Giuliani, for the first time, has fully admitted he does not have it. It was not in his possession. They took every communication device in the house. Now, I know what Sebastian Gorka is thinking right now. You can tell by the look on his face. Does anyone else in the studio know I farted? Or are their eyes watering for some other reason? No. The reason, what he's thinking right now, of course, is, well, clearly Rudy has the Hunter Biden laptop somewhere else in his position. He's hiding it someplace to protect it from the FBI. Don't get me started on chain of evidence again.
It could have been me making a deal with some crooked Ukrainian like they think I do.
Yeah, they don't need that. They've got your iCloud. And they got all the other devices.
They took my word for it. So what the heck did they come and barge into my apartment if they're going to take my word for it?
Because they need your communication devices. Because what they're after is corroboration of emails and texts that they have already seen.
I mean, I can't fathom why they think.
Because you're fucking dumb. That's why. Because I mean, I'm comfortable writing off as old fart doesn't know how technology works. But since you're coordinating this lie and you arranged to coordinate this lie with Sebastian Gorka, both of you, somewhere in this mix, either you two or Andrew Giuliani, his son, or Sebastian's staff, somebody in this process has to know that that's what the actual raid was about, was communication devices. And they have somebody in this whole circle of whoever set this up has got to be going, where if you have the laptop and you sleep with a copy of the hard drive under your pillow, and they searched your whole place and they found your wife's laptop, but they never found Hunter Biden's. Where is it? It doesn't exist.
I think I destroy evidence. I mean, I've been in law enforcement.
Well, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, I've been in law enforcement for a long time. I know how to destroy evidence. What?
Very distinguished career in law enforcement. I'm a lawyer. I'm a member of the bar. I'm not going to destroy evidence. I'm not Hillary Clinton. And
she didn't destroy evidence.
They would know if I destroyed it. They have my iCloud.
Right. You offered testimony before you found out that they'd already seen your iCloud. You didn't know they had your iCloud.
Here's the key question.
Here's the key question. They searched your whole apartment. They found your wife's laptop, but they didn't find Hunter Biden's laptop. Where the fuck is it? Where is it?
We'll have to end on this. I know that they can't intimidate you. It is absolutely impossible.
No, he's intimidated.
So what was the action against you really about?
Corroborating evidence they already had gathered.
Rudy, who were they really trying to intimidate?
No one. They weren't trying to intimidate anyone. There was no intimidation to it. They were literally there to pick up electronic devices. They were actually very nice to him. He lied about it, of course. Rudy Giuliani and all this, talk about how the left wants to defund the cops and how we're anti-cop, and never mind the fact that on January 6th, Trump supporters nearly killed 2 cops, broke one's ribs, gouged one's eyes out, tried to gouge one of them's eye out, gave one a heart attack because they were tasing him, tried to steal his gun. Thank you for saving me, but fuck you for being there, right? But Rudy Giuliani and Sebastian Gorka are predicating a lie on law enforcement that they came there to intimidate him and not just simply do their job gathering evidence in an ongoing indictment with a warrant that was produced by a grand jury.
Well, I think they want to, they're always trying to shake up the president. They're not going to intimidate him, but they still think they can do it. That's why they...
Yeah, he's pretty shook up.
Would keep leaking every week that Donald Jr. was going to be indicted. And every week I would tell him they can't possibly indict him. He didn't do anything wrong.
Don Jr.?
But that was done to destabilize him, to get him to say something. They play these mind games. They also, I think, are very worried about what's going on in Arizona.
Yeah, that's why the FBI raided his place, because they're worried about Arizona. By the way, they're not.
I mean, they spent 3 months, 4 months blocking it. So if there was nothing wrong in Arizona...
The FBI spent 3 months blocking it? The fuck does this have to do with the FBI's investigation for you for a FARA violation? Nothing.
3 months ago, they would have turned over all the paper ballots and all the machines.
What does this have to do with the fact that you're an unregistered foreign agent and you were literally working with organized crime?
This battle to hide them. And they know.
Rudy calls allegation baseless. First of all, multiple allegations, unless he's going with the idea that what the actual indictment said, or the search warrant said, is a single, that he was an unregistered foreign agent.
They know that I started that. They know if something goes wrong there, they're going to have to deal with my big mouth. And they're doing the best they can to try to destroy my credibility.
What credibility?
I would say that's it. I mean, they'd love to see me. They'd love to see me bankrupt. I mean, they'd also love to see me in jail. But since I didn't commit a crime, I think that's going to be pretty hard, I hope.
Well, as far as
Mike Flynn went down for the same thing you're dealing with, and you don't have Trump to bail you out.
I'm concerned, they want to intimidate
Thanks,
the
David.
74 million Americans that voted for
They're
Donald
not.
Trump, but they're messing with the wrong guy. God bless you, Mr. Mayor,
Well,
and
thank
the whole
you,
of
sir.
the
We gotta
president's
stick together
team.
here. This, what they're doing to our country is
We
terrible.
do.
Terrible.
Yeah, you got to stick. We got to stick together. You know, all of us crooks.
What the whole team, Joe DeGenever, Victoria
This is like, can you imagine if the Nixon plumbers had a fucking talk show? That's what this is. That's all this shit is. We see this like from, you know, any of the Newsmax channels. This is just, if you know, during the Nixon administration, if the plumbers, if G. Gordon Liddy had his own talk show.
Victoria Townsend, Jenna Ellis, you're going to keep on fighting and we have your back.
Newsmax TV is now.
Why would you have his back if you're a news organization? It sounds kind of like you're a propaganda max, right?